Hi everybody! It's time for your Week 4 overview in English 101. Here's a screenshot of your course schedule for this week. You'll notice that everything is due on Sunday. You have a reading in perusal that's actually gearing you up for the Unit 2 assignment, which is coming up. And you have your rhetorical analysis mini portfolio or final draft due by Sunday. Here is your module for this week. When you check it out, you'll notice that it's kind of long. And that's because this week we're straddling both Units 1 and Unit 2. You're wrapping up your Unit 1, your rhetorical analysis, and you're beginning to prepare for your next writing assignment. So click on that link, Lesson 2.1, to get a good overview of what you're doing this week. For this assignment and every other one in this course, and honestly, just about every other course you'll take, you will be writing a reflective cover letter. I'll go over that in just a minute. And there you'll see the Project 1 Rhetorical Analysis link. So you're going to click on that when you're ready to submit your final paper. And in the Lesson 2.1, here's your to-do list. So there is the reading and perusal, reading games, strategies for reading scholarly sources. That's due by Sunday. And also, as soon as you turn in your rhetorical analysis paper, you need to really hit the ground running and read the Project 2 Summary and Synthesis paper description so you have a good idea of what you're going to be doing in the next couple of weeks. Let's see. All right, let's talk a little bit about the reflective cover letter. So really, I can't think of any example in professional or technical writing, in the sciences, in business, and hospitality, you name it. Almost every type of communication requires some sort of a cover letter. Oftentimes they're called a letter of transmittal. Say you're in business and you're sending out a proposal or an invoice. You probably already know that when you're sending in a resume, it requires some sort of a cover letter to introduce yourself to whomever is going to be reading your resume. And really, almost every assignment throughout your whole academic career will ask you to include a reflective cover letter. So a reflective cover letter gives you an opportunity to just talk one-on-one with your instructor and sort of reveal some of the things that were going on in your mind as you were going through the process of completing this assignment. It gives instructors a tremendous amount of insight into what you were thinking and what you learned. What did you come away with? These prompts, and this is what you see on this slide, is in the reflective cover letter instructions, and they apply to every assignment that you're turning in this semester. So you can always go back for assignments 2, 3, and 4 and reread this if you need to refresh your memory. But in a nutshell, what did you gather? What did you gather from the process of doing this assignment? What did you come into this process knowing, and now that you're leaving it, what do you feel like you gained from it? What sorts of obstacles did you encounter? What did you glean from peer feedback or your instructor feedback? So how helpful was that? How did you use it? And what deliberate choices did you make? You may not even be aware of it, but you made a tremendous number of rhetorical choices when you chose what to write about that was in this visual artifact, and undoubtedly you ignored some things that maybe you felt weren't as important. So how did you go about making those choices? So when you turn in your paper, it's going to have 3 parts. It's going to have the reflective cover letter, and please use actual letter format. So if you need to go and do a quick search to figure out what that is, please do that. So it really looks like a paper, or excuse me, a letter. You're going to have the newly revised draft, the most recent revised draft of your visual rhetorical analysis paper, and then you're going to include your peer feedback. So however you can do that, if somebody actually left comments in your paper, great. Just cut and paste that into your final document. Some people only leave comments, throughout on the dialog box. Once again, great. Just cut and paste those into a separate paper. But I want to see all of the peer feedback that you got. And please put this all in one document, all right? Don't attach 3 separate documents. It just makes it a little harder for me to kind of put this all together when I'm reading it. So really quick, here are the requirements. When we say mini portfolio, I hope that's not confusing. What that just means is this is sort of your preliminary final draft, because remember, you're going to be putting together a final portfolio at the very end of the semester where you're taking 3 out of the 4 papers that you write, and then you're going to be doing like a super final version of those. But for this moment, this is your most recent, quote, final version of this paper. So there you have your word count, some guidelines about how to format that. I do want to point out, this says works cited, but I am certainly not requiring a works cited page. Really, the only thing that you're citing is the link to the visual artifact that you analyzed. So in your mind, you can just cross out the works cited. Those will be coming up in later assignments. Your working draft, your reflective cover letter, MLA formatting. You can always go to the Purdue OWL if you want to check that out. But honestly, what I've just described here, the 12-point New Times Roman, that is MLA formatting. We'll talk about guidelines for writing, maybe next week. I'll hit that a little bit. All right, so when you're ready to turn in your paper, you'll go to the Project 1 Rhetorical Analysis instruction page. You'll see that there's that red button up at the top that says Start Assignment. It actually should say Submit Assignment. Choose Upload File and upload that one document. Now, the important thing to remember is that please make sure that it is a .x or a doc, okay? No PDFs, because I can't put comments on a PDF. So make sure it's the right format, and make sure that you've included your link to the visual artifact or the artifact itself. If you want to go ahead and put the picture in it, that would be great. Hit Upload File, Submit Assignment, and there you go. You've turned in your first assignment. Here is the second part of the module for this week. So now we're getting into Project 2, which is a paper called Analysis and Synthesis. And I will go over these terms and all of this in much more detail at the beginning of next week. So please read that overview, read through the assignment description, and there is the reading and perusal for you, reading games, due February 6th. Now, this paper asks you to choose 2 of these 3 papers that are being provided for you. And you'll notice right away the topic is student loans, something I'm sure many of you, frankly, including me, grapple with and are very interested in. So read all 3 of these peer-reviewed articles. You will be choosing 2 to use for your paper. And we'll talk about that later. It will make much more sense after you've read the Project 2 description.